Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad ZULFITRI AKMAL bin Adi HANAFI. My matrix number 2013322972. So I will present about non-destructive test. What is NDT? NDT is referred to an array of inspection techniques that allow inspectors to collect data about a material without damaging it. It also refers to an array of inspection methods that allow inspectors to evaluate and collect data about a material, system, or component without permanently altering it. So the objective of NDT to assess quality of the concrete in relation to the standard requirement, to estimate compressive strength of concrete with the help of suitable correlation between rebound index and compressive strength, and lastly to delineate region of poor quality or deteriorate concrete in a structure. So the importance of the NDT test, first is having safety and accuracy. For the saving, the most obvious response to this query is that destructive testing is less desirable than non-destructive testing, since the material or object being inspected can withstand the inspection without being injured, saving time, money, and resources. For the safety, another reason NDT is appealing because practically all of its methods, with the exception of radiographic testing, are safe for people. Efficiency NDT techniques enable to extensive and speedy asset evaluation, which is often essential for maintaining a job site's performance and safety. For the accuracy, when it comes to maintenance procedures intended to guarantee the safety of employees and the longevity of equipment, NDT methods have been demonstrated to be precise and predictable to attribute you desire.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, good morning and good night. My name is Muhammad ZAKWAN bin SHAARI. My group will present right now about the mini project in construction technology 2. So right now I will present my part in this mini project. So for part A in non-destructive test, I will present about the type, what is references, and also the conclusion of for part A. So for the type of non-destruction test, our equipment we use were rebound hammer, rebound scanner, PPV test, and rest PVT test. There are also equipment that we use which are reverse scanner, but for that will be for destructive test, I believe, or maybe in another part test. But for NDT, this is the four equipment that we usually use for NDT test. So the reason for using NDT test is to check the quality control of new construction, checking troubleshoot for with the new and old construction, and also checking the condition and also evaluate the older concrete for rehabilitation purpose, and also checking the quality assurance of concrete repairs. So to conclude, for part A for NDT test, that non-destructive test is a valuable technique used by many industries to evaluate the properties of a material, component, structure, or system without causing any damage. There are various types of NDT such as visual inspection, radiography, ultrasonic testing, magnetic particle testing, and penetrate testing. Each type has its own advantage depending on the application. So to conclude, the NDT is just a test that where we test the quality and also the condition of the concrete without ruining the surface of the concrete or the internal of the concrete. So thank you for listening, and next I will give to my next group member to present about part B of Media Project City.
Hello, and my name is NAZIRUL. As for my part, I'm going to present about the destructive test. So for the introduction, destructive testing, known as DT, is a test or procedure used to identify the precise point of the failure of materials and machine parts in order to acquire details on the material's performance, strength, behavior, or characteristic. This test object experiences stress during the procedure, which finally causes the material to deform or destroy. Naturally, after going through destructive testing processes, tested component and material cannot be used again in a normal operation, unlike non-destructive testing, which tries to evaluate the state of material or structure without causing damage. For the concrete coring, concrete is divided into the cylindrical core, various sample for various tests. An instruction manual for concrete coring for destructive testing is provided below. First, equipment and safety precaution. Ensure the drilling machine is excellent operating order and follow the direction from the manufacturer. After that, wear the PPE such as gas mask, glove, safety glasses, and ear protection. And second, select core sampling location. Choose the precise places on the concrete structure from the which to take core samples such as beam and column. Then need to consider elements like accessibility, representative sampling, and structural integrity. Third, prepare the work area. Any obstacle or loose debris should be removed from the area surrounding the core spot. Then set the coverings constructed from native sheets to capture drilling debris, stop it from spreading. And the fourth, begin coring. Put the core drilling device at the selected coring location, then launch the drilling device, then gradually drop the core bit into the concrete surface. Start the core making procedure by applying consistent downward pressure and turning the core a bit. And then for the fifth, extract the core, continuing to drill until the ideal core depth is attained. Depending on the testing needs, core depths can range from 2 to 8 inches, which is 5 to 20 cm in diameter. And lastly, sample handling and testing. Tap the core of the bit gently to release it, then remove it from the drill hole. Use it carefully while handling the extract core to prevent sample damage. Bring the core to the lab for additional testing, such as destructive tests or tests for compressive strength, density, or chemical analysis. So these are type of multi-setting testing. This testing is designed to evaluate a specific properties or characteristics of material or building. Here are the few typical destructive testing method and the functional parts in which they are used. Firstly is a compression test, strength test. In compression testing, a material is put under compression pressure until it breaks and or deforms. It determines a characteristic like a compression strength, elastic modulus, and behavior under stress. The stability and load-bearing ability of concrete masonry and other structural materials must be evaluated by compression testing. Secondly, tensile strength test. In order to do this test, a material must be pulled until it breaks. It evaluates the material's yield, strength, and location, ultimate tensile strength, and other mechanical characteristics. Tensile testing is frequently used to assess the functionality and quality of plastic metals and composites. It also aids in design of load-bearing components. Or the third, bending strength test. By applying bending forces to a material until it cracks, bend tests evaluate its ductility and resistance to cracking. It is frequently used to assess the quality and workability of metal like steel and aluminum, and it's figuring out how well the material can survive bending or forming processes. And lastly, for the flexural strength test, one way to determine the tensile strength of concrete by its flexural strength is to measure how well a reinforced concrete beam or slab can withstand bending failure. The stress at failure bending can be used to define flexural strength.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad bin Muhammad Yusuf. I will present for the mini project construction technology 2. Part C, we discuss the application of scaffoldings in the construction works. Scaffolding, also known as scaffolding or sagging, is a temporary framework used to support a work crew and supplies when building, maintaining and repairing buildings, bridges and other man-made structures. Scaffolding also a temporary structure used by workers to keep them safe and provide quick access to buildings. Uh, and then scaffolding utilized on construction sites to get access to high points and regions that would otherwise be inaccessible. The height is generally more than 1.5 meter. Itu. The types of scaffolding is first, cantilever scaffolding. It's usually located near balconies for easy access. Uh, it's useful when there are obstacles on the ground or narrow paths that prevent the scaffolding from being established on the ground. And then it's cost effective and time consuming when the level does not allow for a regular scaffolding system. This is an example for cantilever scaffolding. Next, the single scaffolding is the horizontal supports ledges linked to the standards at an equal vertical angle. Uh, it's using vertical support known as standards. Single scaffolding sits parallel to a structure's wall. The horizontal supports ledges lean to the standard to the at an equal vertical angle. For the next scaffolding is double scaffolding. In this type of scaffolding, a double row of scaffolding makes the entire support structure stronger. The first row sits parallel to the wall, while the other row sits away from the first row. Double scaffolding is distinguished from single scaffolding by the presence of two rows of standards separated by ledges for improved stability. This style of scaffolding is often stronger and provides more support for building projects. It's one near to the wall and one some distance away from the first. This an example for double scaffolding. The advantages in application of scaffolding is its safety of all parties, especially for workers. Next, it access to height. Scaffolding helps employees to reach heights that might otherwise to be difficult or dangerous to attain. It provides a strong and dependable platform for jobs like painting, plastering, installing fittings, and making repair at various levels of a structure. And next is flexibility and adaptability. Also, it increase productivity. Uh, it material and equipment support. Also, it improve site organization, like uh, scaffolding aids in the maintenance of a well-organized building site. It eliminates clutter and optimizes the flow of supplies and workers by providing dedicated work zones and storage platform. And then the facilitates inspection and quality control. It's also cost effectiveness.
Bumper clouds were cliffs. Bumper clouds were
Where'd all the time go? It's starting get so forgetful when I look in your eyes. Now she's walking backward through a parade, and I'm stuck in the shadows, blocking the shade. There ain't no way to sweep up the mess that we made. She gets dressed up like a pillow, so she's always in bed. Flowers for the sick and dead. She's on the go, way too fast and way too slow. She'll turn the stone in hospitals and funeral homes. And when the fog rises, somebody sighs who is not in disguise anymore. There's nothing to keep you from falling in love. It starts at the bottom, it comes from above, like pieces of a puzzle, like a hand in a glove. She gets dressed up like